What's up, friends? Rock Chalk Sports getting you going on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Our technical director is Elijah Schmidt. And with Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman rolling you through your hump day. And what a show we've got planned for you today. Big news, Tyran Stokes is a Jayhawk. We're screaming Rock Chalk Jayhawk all day long as Kansas lands the consensus #1 recruit in the country. Talking Stokes here in this opening segment. We'll get into what this means for the KU basketball program from a freshman standpoint, from a transfer portal standpoint, where Kansas needs to go from here, give you an outlook on the current roster, all that sort of thing as Kansas gets their guy in Tyran Stokes. That'll be here in the open. Next segment, KU baseball, KU softball absolutely disposed of Wichita State over at X Stadium. It was 14-1. The baseball team took care of business. They are now 34-11. And then Kansas softball, final game of the regular season at Orocha Ballpark here in Lawrence. They blank Wichita State 10-0. We'll talk about that next segment. Following that, well, it's only right that Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal World gets to be the first voice of any of our guests to speak on Tyran Stokes. He's also going to speak on the NCAA Tournament, which there's news on that front we're going to get into later in the show as well, Dan. NCAA Tournament expanding to 76, barring some sort of shock later this month.
Yeah, you missed it off air. Sean and I got into a fist fight over this because we vehemently disagree with each other about this. We'll break that down with Henry and a whole lot more. Obviously, KU baseball and football, not football, KU and softball talk as well. Like you said, they were absolutely dominant yesterday. A Sunflower State beatdown.
Yes.
They shocked that wheat.
That works.
Does that work?
Wheat shockers.
They shocked that wheat.
Yes.
Shocking.
I do kind of like the Wichita State. It's stupid, but I kind of like the Wichita State mascot just because it's unique.
It is unique. I'm a fan of
it's way better than Willie the Wildcat, which is half of a human. And yeah, that's.
We should do a top 10 Kansas college mascots.
Top 10, yeah. Top 12, maybe. That sounds good.
Yeah, top 12.
Yeah.
Is there 13?
I would say probably so. KU Mailbag segment. Maybe we do a top 10 chips because that highlights our KU Mailbag segment for today.
That's right. Shout out to Elliot, man. He came in clutch. He actually sent this in late on Wednesday, but it gave me ample time to find all of the chips. I actually did it this morning. But he gave us a list of 5 different chips, and he wants us to rank them. They're all Flamin' Hot stuff because you were talking about the Doritos Flamin' Hot Limon. I actually picked up a bag of those, too. So we have 6 chips that we're going to try. I'm going to try Sean's favorite for the first time, but Elliot has 5 different chips. One of them's Bugles. Are Bugles chips?
Sure.
I
don't know what they are.
I don't know what they are either. No. A wheat-based snack.
Triangle.
Yeah.
Cone.
A bugle, I would say. Cornucopia, if you will.
Right.
So we're going to try those as well. Also, a lot of KU basketball, KU football stuff as well. KU baseball stuff's in here, too.
Yeah, if you're worried about what purchasing the 6 bags of chips did to Dan's paycheck, don't worry. He's going to write those off on his taxes.
I kept the receipt.
So we'll be good on that front. Following that, we're going to go over to Hoagland Ballpark. Kannon, Carr, and Tyson Owens, who not only is the Big 12 Player of the Week, but was named to some national teams as well, spoke to the media a little bit earlier today. And then we'll close talking NCAA Tournament and maybe another word or two on Tyran Stokes. KansasNation.com, the place to be. If you checked it out last night, you would see that we were on top of it. We had Tyran Stokes news on KansasNation.com, and today KU officially announcing the signing of Tyran Stokes. So you don't have to see him commit on Inside the NBA and then wait 2 weeks before the official paperwork goes through and all that. Bill Self's to comment, that sort of thing. All of that has happened in less than 24 hours, and we are stoked about that.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's good.
Kansas Nation on socials, at the Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Kansas Nation on Facebook as well. All right, Dan. Turned on the TV at 5:30, actually 5:27 or so to be safe last night. I actually put my phone face down in a different part of the room. I'm like, I don't want to get any alerts from anybody.
Sure.
I want to see him make this announcement.
Yeah.
My wife was
right at 5:30 on the dot, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that was the hope. My wife was picking up my daughters from daycare, and usually there's like a 5, I don't know, from like 5:30 to 5:50 is probably the time that they show up.
Sure.
And when they show up, I try to make a point. I mean, there's 2 girls, so I try to go out there and I try to get one girl out and make sure that we can get inside with
Dad of the year, by the way.
So I'm like peeking out the blinds, but I'm turning this on because I want him to make his announcement so that I can go about and have my attention on them.
Right.
And wouldn't you know it, I'm pacing. I mean, that's what I do. I'm pacing into the kitchen. I'm pacing back into the living room because I'm like, man, I got to hear from this guy. And the girls didn't show up until after the announcement.
Okay.
But that was kind of a peek through the blinds, if you will, at what I was doing. 5:30, Mike Wilbon won't stop talking.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
like, what is going on? It's 5:30, and then Shaq's got a question. Barkley's got a question. And Kenny Smith's got a question. And then, whatever. And then they finally get Wilbon off air, and then we go to break. And then it's like 5:42, and Stokes is in the seat.
Yes.
And Ernie has to do his thing, and blah, blah, blah. And, Stokes comments, and then he's about to make his selection. And then Kenny says, whoa, I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. And I'm looking out the window, looking for the girls to arrive. But anyway, how Stokes does it when he eventually did it was he had a little present 2K video game with him wearing a Kansas jersey and displayed that. And we've got that video up on our socials and on kansasnation.com if you missed it. But the bottom line is he's the consensus number one pick, I guess I shouldn't say that in the NBA. Who knows where he'll go in the NBA? He'll go somewhere in the 2027 NBA draft. But consensus number one freshman on his way to Lawrence, 6'7", 230, put up ridiculous numbers in high school. Going to slide into kind of that 3-4 hybrid for KU. And honestly, promises to be Kansas' best player. So a massive get for KU.
Yeah, 100%. Right. And, the inside the NBA thing I thought was very funny. I wanted to strangle Michael Wilbon. I like Michael Wilbon too.
Great guy.
PTI. I mean, the guy's been in the business forever. But I was like, dude, shut up. Like, let's get this over with. Like, come on. Let's get Tyran Stokes on the thing. And then, like you said, Kenny Smith just would not stop talking either. They're like, oh wait, one more thing. When you were playing in AAU, blah blah blah. No. Let's not do this.
Right.
I did like the fact that. So he had a Panini thing. It was like sponsored by Panini or whatever, the trading card thing. And he had a little box. And when you open the box, inside was this little thing, and it was wrapped in blue and white. Mm-hmm. It had blue wrapping paper and a white ribbon on it.
The white.
Yeah, it had a white ribbon on it. And so right away you're like, oh, okay. All right, I see what's happening. And then opens it up, Kansas, rock chalk. So we've talked to every single one of our guests, probably except for David Lesky, about Tyran Stokes, about when is this going to happen, why is this taking so long, what is going on, and the general feel was, yeah, I think he really likes Kansas, but the Nike thing is happening, and we're not entirely sure. And honestly, to me, it felt like such a coin flip. It was a 50%, we don't know what's going to happen. And when he finally picked Kansas, it was like this overcoming like sigh of relief, because it started to creep into me when this was happening of, if he picks Kentucky,
what if we don't get him? Yeah.
What if I never really thought about that until that moment where I was like, oh crap, if we do not get Tyran Stokes, we have no other wing. We have Cole Rosario, and that's it. No other wings, no other guys at the 3. All the other wings in the portal have already pretty much signed. There's no other guys in the portal who are as good as Tyran Stokes. I'm willing to say right now that every single player that's in the portal is not as good as Tyran Stokes. There's not a single player in the portal who had the caliber of play as Tyran Stokes. So when that was happening, it started to creep in of like, oh my gosh, if we don't get this guy, we are absolutely screwed.
You were more confident than I, only because I probably was just trying to protect myself a little bit more throughout the whole process. And I want to credit Shea Wildeboer, Jayhawk Slant. We're going to have Shea on the show tomorrow to break this down. But he has been confident. If you've seen him on our show in the past, he's been confident about Stokes this whole time, does great work for Rivals and Jayhawk Slant. So give them a subscription if you get a chance. But yeah, Bill Self does it again. Bill Self against Mark Pope. Who are you going to go with? And Coach Self and Curtis Townsend, who spearheaded this, got to shout him out as well for getting him.
Yeah.
Coach,
Zeke
of course.
Zeke Mayo's tweet said, give KT the keys to the city.
Yeah. Coach Self, of course, alluded to potentially retiring after the loss to St. John's that we won't talk about in March, but he's going to return for his 24th season at KU, and now he's landed the number 1 ranked high school player for the 2nd consecutive season and the 4th time during his tenure at Kansas. Darren Peterson, Josh Jackson, and Andrew Wiggins, of course, on that list as well. Stokes, like I said, it's not going to be the same as Peterson in terms of being an absolute lock as being a top 2 pick in the NBA draft. But I actually had David Lawrence tell me when I was chatting with him the other day, he said that he heard from somebody that Stokes would have been 6th in this year's NBA draft. And I thought, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because this year's NBA draft is absolutely loaded, and Stokes still has room to get better. But he's 6'7", he's 230. And when you look at this from a roster standpoint, we'll get into it more. Nick Springer said it well. He said there's a Tyran Stokes-sized hole in this roster because you look, Kansas brought in Leroy Blyden Jr., who's going to be a great player, great scorer, hopefully a great shooter for Kansas. The Jayhawks also brought in bigs and Keanu Dawes, who we think will slide into the 4, and then Christian Reeves, who's going to provide depth at the 5 as well. You're bringing in nice players, and you know you've got a top-tier freshman class coming in, but you need that guy. And Tyran Stokes, by many accounts, moves Kansas from a team outside the top 25 by a lot of metrics to a fringe top 10 team already.
Yeah.
Kansas can't be done. We're not going to pretend like they're done. I still think KU needs to go out and get another pro. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But to your point earlier, this absolutely had to happen. Kansas had to get a player of this caliber to put them in the conversation.
Yeah, for sure, right? And by the way, I want a word on Mark Pope because
yes,
what the hell?
I'm seeing a lot of hilarious things. Whifford, the big red dog.
Yeah.
Ken Whiffy Jr. just whiffing on
That's
all
great.
these.
Well, and so when Tyran Stokes took his unofficial visit, we have actually heard some things. I actually heard from a source today that Tyran Stokes essentially signed some revenue sharing paperwork back in January for Kansas, right? So this thing was virtually all but locked up, and nobody had really known about this up until obviously yesterday. But it is interesting, though, because Tyran Stokes winds up taking his unofficial visit with Rob Wright on his official visit to Kentucky, and Kentucky manages to whiff on both of those guys. Rob Wright said, you know what, that's so bad that I'm actually going to go just back to BYU. And Tyran Stokes, who grew up in Louisville, grew up in Kentucky, has a number of different family members and friends in the area. He's a Kentucky kid, winds up coming to Kansas as a Nike athlete too, which I think is the important thing. It's like that was really the biggest hang up, is kind of how is that going to work, right? He's a Nike athlete playing at an Adidas school. Is Nike going to, be upset about all of this, so on and so forth? But at the same time, this is a long-term NIL deal that's going to extend into his NBA career. So that obviously, if you're here for a year, and I'm not expecting Tyran Stokes to be here for more than a year just because of the fact that, same way with Darren Peterson, right? He's going to be a first-round pick. He's going to be a top 5 pick probably next year. I'm seeing a lot of outlets saying he's projected to go number 1 for next year, depending on kind of how the transfer portal shakes out and how some of these other guys wind up playing. But Tyran Stokes, I think that, again, I said it, there's no player like him. There's no player to the caliber of player that he is that's in the transfer portal right now. Is he a multi-level scorer yet? Probably not, right? I think that he's really good at getting to the basket, really good at being able to finish around the rim, a nice driver. He's an okay three-point shooter. I think that's maybe the number one thing that he needs to work on. But at the same time, with everything that he's able to do with his scoring ability, with his defensive ability, with his length, with his athleticism, he is going to be the number 1 guy for this year for Kansas.
So I want to read what Adam Finkelstein of CBS Sports says. And then again, this did become official for KU earlier today. You can read what Coach Self says about Stokes, and then we'll talk about this from a roster standpoint. But CBS Sports, again, they've got an article on this. They say Stokes will be the 5th member of KU's 2026 recruiting class, which now sneaks into number 1 in the 24/7 Sports team recruiting rankings. Before Stokes, KU's biggest commitment was 5-star Tay Kinney, who's going to presumably be the starting point guard for KU. KU also has gotten pledges from 4 stars, Davion Atkins, who's a big, 4-star forward Trent Perry, and 4-star guard Luke Burnett, who Coach Self has said the best shooter we've recruited since Grady Dick. Here's what Finkelstein says, quote, Stokes is the most talented prospect in the national class and a unique matchup for opposing defenders. At 6'7" and 230 pounds with a 7-foot wingspan, he's powerful, long, and explosively athletic. But while he's built like a forward, he can make plays like a guard with an ability to create off the dribble and an innate understanding of how to instinctively find a path to the rim, even when one doesn't seem to initially present itself. He's especially lethal getting downhill on the open floor and loves to take the ball off the defensive glass and start the break himself, end quote. Okay, sign me up for that. I've been told that he's a bowling ball in transition, and if you want to attack the glass and go, let's go. We like Darren Peterson a lot. Peterson wasn't an attack the glass type player. He's an immensely gifted offensive player. He wasn't a I'm going to go get it and then I'm going to get out and transition myself as much type player. He really wasn't, and we know he wasn't 100% healthy. But Stokes is a little bit bigger and, dare I say, a little bit tougher than Darren Peterson, and I expect he will definitely make things happen. And Coach Self thrilled about the signing, of course. Yeah,
and looking kind of at the timeline of when this all happened, right? And just another word, I guess, on Kentucky and the incredible screw up that they made. So October of 2024 is when he took his first official visit to Louisville. He actually grew up in Louisville. Then he took an unofficial visit to Kansas and an unofficial visit to Kentucky. Also took an official to USC and Oregon. That was his final official visit. Then he winds up sitting a top 5 of Kansas, Kentucky, Louisville, USC, and Oregon. That was no surprise to anybody. Obviously transferred from Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks, California, over to Rainier Beach in Seattle. Then Bill Self announcing in early April that he was going to be returning to Kansas. Then he winds up taking an unofficial visit to Kentucky. Like I said, he was on campus with Rob Wright. They were hosting them both, wound up whiffing on them both, and then he winds up committing to KU yesterday. Massive, massive stuff. And, just another word kind of on the style of player that he is. I mean, he's a big guy. He's a 7-foot wingspan. He's, powerful. He's long. He's athletic. He can make plays happen, right? And Kansas didn't really have that kind of player last year, right? You had Darren Peterson, but like you said, Darren Peterson was a little bit different of a player, especially because he kind of had to morph into that. Right, we saw Darren Peterson hit a couple of massive threes for Kansas last year, and he was a playmaker, and he had a really nice left-hand finish a bunch of times. But when you look at it through the scope of comparing the two players, a very different player, but a player that Kansas very much needed.
The comp that I said for Stokes about 3-4 weeks ago, and if you saw any of this team in the NCAA tournament, I hope you can see it and I hope you respect it, is Darius Acuff of Arkansas. Darius Acuff was more so, I'm going to put the team on my back and score. Again, we don't want to bag on DP, but him not being totally healthy definitely didn't allow us to see the best version of himself. Acuff, I think, is a good comp because Acuff can get his shoulders down and get past guys. That's what I'm expecting for Stokes. And Stokes is even a little bit bigger than Acuff. Did you want to read Bill Self's comments on him?
Yes, absolutely.
Because Self saying that yesterday was a big day for the program with KU getting Stokes.
Yeah, Self said yesterday was a big day for our program, landing the consensus #1 player in 2026 class. Tyran is I love this quote. Tyran is as versatile a youngster that I've ever recruited. Love it when he says versatile a youngster as I've ever recruited. He can score. He's a terrific rebounder. He's powerful and can be a great facilitator. And maybe what he does best is pass the ball. He's had far more exposure to basketball than most kids his age and will come in here with the ability to live up to the lofty expectations that will be placed on him by others. He also said Coach Townsend once again did a tremendous job in being the point in recruiting Tyran. We look forward to welcoming him and his mother into our Kansas basketball family. So again, Coach Self coming out and saying this about Tyran Stokes, saying that he is as versatile a youngster that he's ever recruited. You talk about the number of different incredible recruits that Kansas has brought in, the Wiggins of the world, the Josh Selby's of the world, even though that one didn't really work out, but still, number 3 overall guy, right? Josh Jackson. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Darren Peterson is in there, right, of high-level high school basketball players that Kansas has been able to bring in and make an immediate impact. I think Tyran has the capabilities and the play style to make probably a bigger impact than almost all of those guys.
Let me know if this is accurate to you of the guys you listed. I get more of from a personality standpoint, Josh Jackson vibe than I do a Darren Peterson or an Andrew Wiggins.
Sure.
Darren Peterson, Andrew Wiggins, kind of quieter, I would say. You don't hear as much from them. They had their moments, but you don't kind of get the stone cold killer like you got out of Josh Jackson. That's what I feel for Tyran Stokes. And, the story's still going to be written, and there's a lot of salty Kentucky fans out there, as expected. Kentucky was just kind of crossing their fingers and hoping, but they are left without the blue chip talent that Kansas gets in Tyran Stokes. So, Dan, let's look at this from a outlook from the roster standpoint.
Well, I have some statistics on him too if you want me to read those. Yeah, I was going to say, so at Rainier Beach this past year, he wound up averaging 31 points per game and 13 rebounds per game. Also 6 assists per game and 4 steals, right? Those numbers, you don't just get those. And look, here's the thing. People are saying that he was playing lesser talented teams out in Seattle than he was when he was at Notre Dame out in California. But still, putting up 31 and 13 with 6 assists and 4 steals per game, that's something that I think you can feasibly look at and say, okay, this kid's not good at just one thing. He's good at everything. And I think to the point of a number of different people, namely Nick Springer, who has talked about this, he's going to bring that rebounding aspect back to Kansas, right? Looking at the front court right now, you have Keanu Dawes, you have Paul Mbia, you have Christian Reeves. Those guys are going to be able to rake in some rebounds.
Kansas should not be getting out-rebounded next season.
Absolutely not. There shouldn't be a single game where Kansas gets out-rebounded because, and when you look at Tyran Stokes, you talked about the stone cold killer aspect of it. He wears his emotion on his sleeve, right?
The long sleeves.
On the long sleeve shirts that he wears. He is a loud player. He gets in people's faces. He trash talks, and he knows that he is the best player in the gym wherever he goes. And that's what Kansas, I think, needs because it brings energy back to this program, right? You can have the stone cold killer aspect of it, right? But when you have a personality like Tyran Stokes on the basketball court, it's going to bleed into everybody else, and Kansas is going to play with so much more passion and so much more emotion and so much more fire than I think we've seen in a long time because of the personality that Tyran Stokes brings to this roster.
I saw a little bit of the Ion College Basketball podcast last night with Gary Parrish and Matt Norlander. Most of that was regarding the NCAA Tournament news, expanding to 76, adding 8 teams, and Dayton's going to be a packed house and all that. They talked a little bit on Stokes, and, classic, I'm looking at this from Crimson and Blue colored lenses, but I feel like they focused too much on the Kentucky side of things, whiffing him, and they also focused a lot on Stokes' potential off the court issues. I mean, they tried to throw in occasionally, yeah, it's a really good get for Kansas, but tried to. Again, the story hasn't been written. We're gonna wait and see how everything goes. But Coach Self, Coach KT, they've been on this guy for a while. He is a top-tier talent. And like you said, he kind of brings that personality that you need if you're going to win. I mean, look at some of the guys who have won.
Right.
You need good players who have a little bit of an edge. I mean, look at Yaxel Lindeborg. He had a little bit of an edge. There's a lot of players like that need to go out and play with personality and have big personality, and Stokes is going to bring that.
Well, and Coach Self and Coach Townsend wouldn't have spent so many resources and spent this much money on a player if they thought that was going to be an issue, right? They understand that, hey, he's going to be a tremendous asset on this basketball program, and they're going to be able to get him into the shape that he needs to be, whether that be on the court, off the court, whatever it may be. If they thought that was going to be an issue, they would have been out on him a long time ago. But since they spent this many resources and this much money on Tyran Stokes, you have to imagine that they have a plan set forth of like, hey, we know what we're going to get out of this guy, and it's going to be worth the money.
This is a tough look for one of our responders on Twitter, responding to Shreyas Latta, Kansas City Star,
hilarious.
Talking about that. He said,
funny.
Dude, Jesus Christ. I don't know if he's talking to the dude or if he's talking to Jesus Christ. Kansas is so delusional to actually think they're going to land a Nike-signed athlete. Use all the past examples you want. It doesn't matter. This is totally different. Going to be comical watching KU fans whine when he announces for either Kentucky or Oregon. Well, that's a tough scene for Verticoli97 on Twitter.
Not age well.
In fact, Tyran Stokes is heading to Mount Oriad. All right, roster now for Kansas. Again, there's 5 open spots. I expect KU, I was thinking about this, I expect KU to get 2 more guys. in the portal.
Sure.
And then you're going to have, some walk-ons type roster spot. I think 2 more guys is the right number. Right now, I'm going to say, and again, there's some movement on this. Tay Kenny's your 1. Your 2 is either Leroy Blyden or Cole Rosario. Stokes is your 3. Dawes is your 4. Christian Reeves, Paul Mbia is your 5. And then your bench, you have Trent Perry, Luke Barnett, Davion Adkins. No, that's not perfect. I don't necessarily want you to argue with me on that right now.
No.
There's a chance that Rosario could be the 3 and Stokes could be the 4. He's got the big enough body and certainly a good rebounder. There's room for that. I understand, and my buddy Brett was texting me last night, concerns about the 5 and Reeves and Mbia, and I'm kind of on the mindset of if they can rebound the ball, which they should, Reeves, Mbia, Dawes, and Stokes should all be elite rebounders. KU should have every possession. It should be a 1 or more shots every offensive possession, give up 1 or fewer shots every defensive possession because we're cleaning up the glass. I like that a lot. Could we take more talent? Absolutely. I think for Kansas, who by many metrics, and you may have them on hand, again, is a top 10 team. I think it's Bart Torvik right now with the addition of Stokes. KU's a top 10 team. I think if KU wants to be a top 5 team, they need another pro, like I said. And I kind of think if, in fact, it is 2 more guys that Kansas gets, and we'll have to wait and see, I want 2 more scorers. Again, 2 more shooters. Because you have Stokes who's going to score. Kenny can score. Both those guys, have to prove that they can be consistent outside shooters. Blyden's a consistent outside shooter. You hope Rosario is a consistently good outside shooter. And we expect Cole to make a big jump and be an offensive force. Dawes is going to score at the 4 spot, but 2 more scorers, and maybe that's asking a lot, and maybe I'm just a little bit concerned because of how the last few years have gone in terms of KU being in the 50s and KenPom offensive efficiency. But that's kind of where I would go next if I'm KU to fill out this roster.
Yeah. I don't have the Torvik. It's not updated for me, and I don't pay for the extra stuff. But we talked yesterday about Gary Parrish and his article in the top 25 and 1, or the top 26, if you will. Kansas, nowhere to be found. I think that with the addition of Tyran Stokes, I think that gets Kansas not
Definitely
only in
top
the top
15, right?
Yeah, I would say not only in the top 26, but yeah, like you said, top 15, maybe even top 10 as of right now. Now, sure, there's a lot of work to be done. But when you look at the way that this roster is shaping up, if you take it right now, I'm still relatively okay with it, because if you have 2 guys down low who can rebound the ball, and if you have the offensive firepower that you have with Blyden shooting upwards of 40% from the 3-point line, with Tay Kenny and his facilitating abilities, with Tyran Stokes and everything that he's able to do, right? You don't need a traditional big man, dump it down low, hook shot. That's all you get, right?
Even though Dawes can bring that to you to an extent. Yeah.
That's the thing. Dawes can do that, right? But you don't even need that. What you need is essentially playmakers on the outside and guys to be able to be down low, get those offensive rebounds, and create more shots off of the offensive rebounds. Keanu Dawes is in the 97th percentile in terms of offensive rebounding rate, right? Paul Mbia is going to get better and is continuing to get better, and he can reach over guys and grab those rebounds whenever he wants. Kick out, create extra possessions. Kansas will be okay. And that's really all you need, right? The traditional big man of the past is not what Kansas needs. It's just you need a guy down there to clean it up and get it out to your best players. And now you got Stokes in that mix. I like where this team is sitting at right now, and there's still more work to be done.
And Reeves is another guy who 95th percentile offensive, defensive rebounds, so that's going to be big. And okay, maybe Dawes is not going to be as productive as, one of the guys that was on Kansas team who's playing in Louisville next year was, but maybe he will be. Again, he put up numbers, and it's not like he can't score. Dawes is going to be able to score more often with his back to the basket than that former Jayhawk did.
Right.
So we have to wait and see kind of moving forward. But yeah, I like that a lot. I want 1 more pro. If you want 1 more pro, and there's not a lot of guys out there, but Stokes puts Kansas in the conversation. In an ideal world, again, and it's interesting because I see people on Twitter being like, "Oh, I want 2 more bigs." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "I want 2 more scoring guards / wings, one of which is a pro." I think if that happens, then Kansas top 5 type team.
Yeah, so. I think when you look at the big men right now, they're serviceable and they're going to be able to do what they need to get done, right? And at the same time, the ball is going to flow through Tay Kinney and Tyran Stokes. When you have two prolific guards like that, I think guard play is going to be the most important. What gets you into deep runs in the NCAA tournament? We talked about this a lot. It's really good guard play, right? What has Kansas not been able to do over these last 4 seasons is get into a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Now you have the guard play, I think, to back that up, with Blyden being a sharpshooter, with Colazario getting better, right? With Tay Kinney being that facilitator, with Tyran Stokes being the best player on the court no matter who he's playing against. You're going to have that solid guard play in order to make sure that you get a deep run come March.
The guys are young. The guards are young. The bigs are old for the most part with Reeves and with Dawes, but you got 2 freshmen in Kinney and Stokes, 2 sophomores in Blyden and Rosario, so there is that. There's going to be some growing pains, I'm sure, but the talent is definitely there. We'll see what Kansas does. Again, they still have 5 spots to go on their roster.
It's going to be a tough pitch. I mean, to get, because right now, in theory, you have your starting 5. It's going to be a very, very tough pitch to be like, hey, we want you to come in and essentially be the 7th man off the bench, right?
Maybe,
but you, like you said, you still need more pros, and hopefully there are going to be some guys still out there who want to contribute to Kansas and are okay with being those guys coming off the bench.
And I said 2 more scorers. I said guards, wings, but I'm okay if one of them's a stretch 4 or a stretch 5.
Yeah.
I mean, no questions about that. So, I think 2 is the number, but we have to wait and see. Exciting times, though. Tyran Stokes heading to Lawrence. Hey, after this, talking a little KU baseball, KU softball. We'll give you some recaps on that, and then stick around. More Stokes conversation with Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal-World. Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
Tundra is now 0.99 APR or get $5,000 customer cash. 2026 Tacoma SR5 models 4.99 APR with $500 cash. Built to move you. Get into a 2026 BZ for 0% APR.
Dominate the season with this limited time offer on the all-star lineup of Ferris zero-turn mowers. At Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, get up to $1,400 instant rebate on a Ferris zero-turn mower. Flexible financing options available with approved credit. Offer ends April 30th. For details and big savings, see Heinen Repair in Valley Falls and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Well, I appreciate everybody's patience if you're waiting for KU baseball and softball chatter. As one segment early, we're bringing in Henry Greenstein. The California kid joins us from KUSports.com and the Lawrence Journal-World. Henry, appreciate you coming in as always. What should we talk about today?
I mean, there's so much to choose from, but I have a feeling there's one item at the top of the list.
There is. Tyran Stokes, who's at the top of all the recruiting lists. You like that?
There it is. That's nice.
He's coming to Mount Oriad.
Earlier he said, we're stoked to have
Get
him.
it? Because his last name's Stokes.
Yeah.
Tyran Stokes really improving Kansas roster. I mean, just talk about the importance of this get for Bill Self. Curtis Townsend did a great job recruiting him and getting him. We kind of had a good feeling throughout, but until you hear him say it until you see the release that the paperwork has been signed and processed and all that. You have a little bit of protecting yourself, but KU gets their guy.
Yeah, it was a good feeling, but as I believe I said on the show previously, it was such an opaque recruitment that we really didn't know what was going on behind the scenes a lot of the time and necessarily how Stokes was feeling about it. I mean, it wasn't one of those ones where everyone's made an incredibly concrete prediction leading up to his announcement. Like, people actually had to watch to figure out where he was going to go. And now that he's picked KU, I mean, it's very easy to see from a tangible standpoint. You know, there's like metrics where KU's gone from 29th to 10th best roster or whatever. I don't remember if that was Evan Mia or Bart Torvik or one of those.
I want to say they went to 10th in both of those two that you mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, he is the kind of player that can redefine the entire construction of a roster and redefine an entire season because, as self-mentioned in the signing today, he's incredibly versatile and does so many things well. He can handle the ball. He can score inside. He can distribute. He's cultivating an outside shot. That's not necessarily the most consistent part of his game, but he's an incredibly strong player who also has a well-rounded game. The ball is going to be in his hands a lot. Tay Kinney may have the keys, but I have a feeling that he and Stokes are going to be sharing the load, and that's a good partnership because those guys know each other. And Kinney was eager for Stokes to come to KU. So with those two in place and the transfers that they've already obtained, like, that's your starting lineup pretty much, unless Palmby is able to beat out Christian Reeves for the starting spot. So I understand that the vision was not necessarily clear to all involved, but I think it's coming together pretty well. They still need to do some work with whatever money they could possibly have left over to obtain one or two like functional bench guard / wings, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that in the days ahead. But absolutely a season-defining acquisition with Tyran Stokes, and one that they worked for multiple years to get.
Yeah, and good for them for finding a way to make that happen. As you know, they were adding these other pieces and Blyden, and then of course the Biggs and Dawes and Reeves. And we'll talk more from a roster standpoint. But what's your understanding of what type of player Tyran Stokes is? Because this isn't the first time that Kansas has gotten the #1 recruit. We've had it with Darren Peterson, Josh Jackson, Andrew Wiggins. To me, I said this, I don't know if you see the similarities at all. He kind of reminds me more of a Darius Acuff than a Darren Peterson, just from a personality standpoint. The ability to get his shoulders past defenders a little bit better as well. And obviously a really good rebounder too, which goes along well with the other really good rebounders Kansas is bringing in.
Yeah, I mean, the Acuff comparison is funny because they're so distinct in their size and role, but he has the same killer instinct, and he has a lot of the same kind of ball handling skills. But yeah, I mean, I think with Stokes it starts with a personality. He's going to rub some people the wrong way, but he is a killer. I mean, he is an extremely confident, probably borderline cocky guy, but he backs it up out there. And you know, I mean, that's the kind of guy you want to have on your team and maybe don't enjoy playing against so much. But KU will be very happy to have him on his side. And the reason why he backs it up is because of all those things I mentioned earlier. He's a well-rounded scorer. He's going to be capable of defending multiple positions because of his athleticism and size. I'm really excited to see the ways that Self uses him, and I'm especially excited to see the ways that the other players can fit as complementary pieces and kind of maximize his strength. Because it has been a little bit since like a player with this particular profile was at the center of a KU team. And it's been a few years since kind of like a big wing. Yeah. I understand Darren Peterson's got some size to him, but
you're right, though. I think of the 16-17 team from a size standpoint where, and you brought this up before with Landon Lucas. It's similar, and this is kind of just coming to me right now. It's similar to me on that front because Josh Jackson's who I think of. Big wing. Jackson wasn't as strong as Kinney, but then you got two little guards. And we had Frank Mason and Devontae Graham. Mm-hmm. Your bigs were more so focused on rebounding the ball in Landon Lucas, that type of thing. And that's, you know, you're not going to be looking for Paul Mbia to score 18 a game or Christian Reeves to score 18 a game. Dawes will do some scoring. But, yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because that kind of reminds me. The two little guards of Kenny and Blyden potentially being your 1-2.
Yeah, that's a really good comparison, actually. And, I mean, I've seen people draw it specifically with the two little guards, as you mentioned. But the overall profile of the team is starting to resemble it a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Henry Greenstein, KSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal World. Henry, just wanted to talk to you about just the process in general and how long this took. I mean, did you pop some champagne yesterday because the Tyran Stokes thing was finally over and we finally got this guy? Or, I mean, just this thing got stretched out for so long. And do you think Kansas, as of right now, has that starting five that you would be comfortable putting out there on a court?
Yeah, I took a big sigh of relief. Apparently he had one night or like one early morning at 5 a.m. he had tweeted it was going to be on May 1st and then deleted it. Or he just tweeted May 1st. I guess that could mean anything.
Yeah. Who knows? Could be a dog's birthday or something.
And so I'm glad that it was not, in fact, May 1st. I'm glad that it got done earlier than that. Yeah, it's true. We don't know the dog that famously came with him on the visit. We don't know its birthday. Yes, I do think KU has its lineup and it has its biggest name acquisitions, and I know some fans will not be super happy to hear that because they'll be like, well, can't we just get Milan Momcilovic too, please? or can't maybe just like a little Juke Harris?
Right. Yeah. Why not?
I understand KU fans saw a lot of big names enter the portal, and not a lot of them came to Kansas. But this is the big name. Like, this is the big name around whom the season will revolve. And I think that now, when you look at the roster, you see, okay, if Stokes drives in, he can kick it out to those little guards. Or as Sean mentioned, like Reeves and Dawes will clean up the misses and generate additional opportunities. I think that it feels so much more cohesive than it did when you had that huge void at the 3 spot. Yeah.
And also, we've been hearing some different things about how he signed some kind of paperwork. I'm not entirely sure what paperwork was signed. Like, I heard a report from a source today, Matt Tate, he said he signed something like back in January, right? And then he was still taking these visits. I guess, do you know anything about, kind of that whole thing in terms of what he had initially signed back then, or anything at all?
The process is so fluid these days that I'm not really sure any paperwork is at all binding.
Sure.
So I wouldn't read too much into the KSR report that you're referencing, which was that yesterday, after he signed, which had some Kentucky fans up in arms a little bit, KSR reported that he was already in the process of signing non-revenue share paperwork with KU when he went on the Kentucky visit. That could mean anything. Anything is non-revenue share paperwork. I signed some non-revenue share paperwork this morning.
Yeah, right.
And put it in an envelope.
We've got some non-revenue share paperwork here on the desk.
I'm not trying to reductio ad absurdum this discussion, but which is basically essentially what I just did with that little equation. But I would not have anyone, like, Kentucky thought that it was in it, the staff, by all accounts, until the last moment. I would not read too much into anything he may or may not have signed in the weeks and months leading up to it, because, there's one thing about Stokes, like, he was going to play it close to the vest and he was going to take his time. I don't think that it was a thing where since January he's always known he was going to be at KU.
Yeah. Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal World joins us in studio. That leads to the next question regarding Stokes, which is, where does KU go from here? Because we've got 5 open roster spots, if I'm not mistaken, and I said in our opening segment, I think Kansas will probably get 2 more guys from the portal. Who knows what KU does in filling out those 5, but like you said, it's not as if they have a ton of money. I mean, we don't know what Stokes is getting paid, but he might be the highest paid player in college basketball this upcoming season. So you want to get a couple more pieces. To me, I would like to see Kansas get 2 more shooters just because I feel like I need that after the past few seasons. But whether it's from something they bring to the table, whether it's positionally, where do you think KU goes?
Yeah, I think you need big guards who can shoot and defend. And obviously, a lot of those are among the best players in college basketball, so there aren't too many of them remaining on the market. But like Victorious Miller, if KU could seal the deal there, I know they had him in for a visit a week ago. If they could circle back on that one, that's a pretty good fit. A guy who's already produced in the Big 12, a reliable shooter. He's 6'5". Like, that's the kind of player the Jayhawks need, because you can kind of see a way where they don't really need much more ball handling. You have 2 point guards, essentially, and a point forward.
Yeah. Threes. Give us some threes.
And, you think about that starting lineup that we discussed. You got some moderate 3-point shooters, but it's not a huge amount of shooting. Like, Leroy Blyden's probably the most reliable 3-point shooter. The more that you can get off the bench, the better. Also, just some length on the defensive end would be useful for when KU goes up against other teams that have wings and shooting guards, their most prominent players. So that's where I'd be looking. But importantly, I don't think you can go just shooting. Like, for instance, today, people are starting to get excited about Abdi Bashir as a potential option for KU. You can't go just shooting.
Right.
And that's someone KU was involved with last offseason before he ended up going to K-State and obviously was hurt for a lot of the year. Great shooter. Not someone who's particularly renowned for his defensive abilities. We will see if KU ultimately chooses to go in that direction. But I think you just want to go the 3-and-D wing route for the remaining spots on which you spend money. And then as for the rest of the roster, like, you got one walk-on in Will Thangval. Walk-ons won't really be as much of a thing anymore, which is why you see KU bringing in for a visit someone like Grant Mordini, who was there earlier this week. I don't know if you guys have mentioned him on the show.
We haven't mentioned it, but I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, a high school guy. Sort of a high school guy. He's originally from Illinois, and he's been doing a prep year at Avon Old Farms, like a 6'10" forward, just some depth, kind of walk-on-ish depth. Probably 3 or 4 guys will be like that. So KU fans will probably not be super thrilled, but you got to fill out the back end of the roster somehow, and it's probably going to be with players like Grant Mordini.
Yeah. Tyran Stokes is a Jayhawk. That's a big news coming out of today. But, Henry, there's some big news for spring sports regarding Kansas. And let's start with KU baseball. They just keep on winning, right? And we talked about that. We were just out at a baseball press conference, and we talked to BP. We talked to a lot of guys, and they just keep on winning. And, there was some of the story regarding Kansas baseball throughout the year of, well, whenever the pitching staff is doing poorly, the offense picks it up, and then whenever the offense is doing poorly, the pitching staff picks it up. But what they did against Wichita State yesterday was just unbelievable, and both of them were just so exceptional. And as of right now, Kansas is looking at still hosting. What does Kansas need to do, I guess, as of right now for the remainder of the season and to kind of ensure that they're going to be in that hosting spot?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. For this week, KU is in like a no-win situation. And what I mean by that is, if KU loses any of its 3 games against Arizona, it will take a big hit to its RPI because Arizona has been so bad this year.
Right.
A team that was picked to finish second in the Big 12 and is currently 12th. And that's due to injuries. It's due to all sorts of things. But whatever the case, not a good team this year. I think they're in like the 150s or 160s in RPI. And KU is a team trying to stay in the top 16. Like, for instance, yesterday KU beat Wichita State 14-1 and dropped to 13 in RPI.
Right.
It'll probably be pretty similar with Arizona, however it goes. So, but in the context of the Big 12 race, KU has a 3-game lead, as everyone knows at this point. And the good news for the Jayhawks is that Arizona State and UCF play against each other this weekend.
Yep.
So unless one of them sweeps, which I don't think is super likely in Orlando, KU will gain some more ground. Now, obviously, West Virginia and TCU have somewhat more manageable matchups, but you kind of feel like if KU goes 6-3 in its last 3 Big 12 series, it'll probably win the conference. And that's, of course, at home against Arizona, at home against West Virginia, which, of course, will be the big one that garners all the headlines, senior day, all that. And then at BYU, kind of a mid to lower level team that's had some inconsistency this year. So going to be a lot of intrigue surrounding the Big 12 race, and then, of course, all the while, as you said, they'll be fighting host a regional, and that's so much harder to keep track of because of all the different results taking place around the country. But, I mean, right now, they're in borderline top 8 seed contention.
That's what I was going to ask you.
They could host 2 weekends.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, if you're a top 8 seed, and a lot of our viewers, listeners might not know this because Kansas hasn't particularly been in this position, having never hosted a regional. All of our talk has been being a top 16 team to host essentially a pod of 4 teams, of which the winner advances to the Sweet 16, of which you then have a 3-game series to go to the College World Series in the top 8. That 3-game series that would basically be what fans would understand as the Sweet 16 is called the Super Regional. And then after that, like I said, the final 8 teams go to the College World Series. We're focused on the top 16, but if you're a top 8, not only do you get to host your pod, but should you advance, then you host the Super Regional as well.
And can we just acknowledge how crazy it is that we're talking about this with KU baseball?
Right.
Oh, I know.
Like that D1 baseball had them as the number 7 seed, I believe, yesterday. So it is within reach. Now they probably have to run the table or get close to it. And with 10 games remaining, that's not an easy task. But can you imagine the thought, even last year, contemplating the idea that Hoagland Ballpark might host a super regional? It's pretty remarkable to consider. Of course, a lot of work for them still to do, but they have proven more than capable of going up against just about anyone who challenges them. And of course, when they get to the postseason, they'll see new styles of play and teams they aren't as familiar with, and those will present new challenges. But so far, they have met every such challenge with aplomb.
Yeah. Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal World. Speaking of Wichita State, speaking of Kansas, KU softball. They completely shut out Wichita State in 5 innings, 10-0. Kansas is right now 33-16. They're 13-8 in Big 12 play, but a lot of talk around whether or not they're going to be even making the NCAA tournament. I mean, your thoughts in terms of whether or not Kansas should potentially get in there, and then also what Kansas needs to do to make sure that they at least get in. Yeah,
I was talking about this earlier, but off air. But essentially, KU has as good a group of wins as you'll find in the bubble conversation. I mean, took 2 out of 3 from Arizona State. I mean, they took 2 out of 3 from essentially almost everyone.
Yeah.
And they've got some good wins over teams in the 40s and 50s of RPI in non-conference play too. The problem is they got ruled by a UMass team that is 216th in RPI, and also lost to Boston College, which is not too far from that. So things like that are holding them back a little bit, which is why it's even in question. Now that being said, Wichita State, a team which KU beat 9-1 and 10-0 this year, was actually also on the bubble. So KU got a pretty good boost by beating them.
Okay.
And is now in the Softball America bracketology. They are in the last 4 in, but they are the 4th team in.
Yeah.
So, and a pretty significant improvement. I think I said last week on this couch they would need to win 3 out of 4 games from the Iowa State series in Wichita State. Well, they did that. So now it's on to OSU, which is an entirely different beast. Ruby Malon is one of the best pitchers in the country. So if KU can, I saw someone suggest on Twitter, if KU can maybe rejigger its pitching matches a little bit so its best pitchers are going on the days when Ruby Malon isn't, that might be their best chance of taking the game in Stillwater. And I feel like they probably only need to really, I mean, we'll see what they can do, but if you take 1 out of that series for a team that McFalls is 3-17 against in her career at KU, that would be a pretty good position heading into the Big 12 tournament, and then probably need to win 1 at the tournament. But it's really hard to say because, like I said, with baseball, there are so many moving parts, and it would be a real shame for KU softball if its best season in modern history doesn't end with making the tournament.
Isn't it interesting, though, the mindset of a manager, head coach in that exact situation? Like with the Royals, same deal. I mean, if they're going up against Jacob deGrom and Cole Reagans is set to go, it's like, okay, good. It's our best against their best. But then it's also like, man, if we're going to lose to deGrom anyway, maybe we should have Reagans go the next day against their next best pitcher. So, yeah, it's interesting. But, yeah, I think 1 would be definitely – you always want to win series, but you got to get at least 1 at Oklahoma State for KU softball. They would have a better chance, Henry, to make the NCAA tournament if there were more teams allowed in the NCAA tournament. Perhaps 76 is the number. Had to ask you about that as the men's and women's basketball tournaments are expanding, barring a shocking turn of events later this month, or in May, I should say. So what are your thoughts on this? Different schools of thought for sure, but sounds like Dayton is going to be a packed house the Tuesday, Wednesday after Selection Sunday.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those areas where I don't 100% align with the consensus. So I'm probably going to say some things that
I am with you then, because I am in the minority, I think.
Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna take a measured stance on this. The current NCAA tournament format is great. Everyone loves it.
Damn straight, Henry.
It's incredible. The way it gives you a few days to fill out your bracket. Awesome. Everyone loves it. There are a lot more teams in NCAA Division I now than when the tournament expanded to 64 and 68. Is it really that crazy for it to expand
Am
again?
I crazy?
It is
New
that
segment?
crazy.
New segment idea.
Is it really that crazy for the tournament to expand from 68 to 76 from purely the standpoint of
percentage of teams, man?
I understand it's not like elegant, I understand that the Field of 68 might have to change its name, which everyone's really concerned about.
Which, yeah, that was my number one concern, really, is what is Sam Lance going to do?
Yeah, but specifically,
Johnny Jayhawk, you mean?
Specifically from the perspective of it is normal for postseasons to expand when leagues and sports expand. I don't see why everyone is so aggrieved. It's just a lot of people who are really fond of this annual tradition.
I got this.
Yeah.
Maybe the NBA is too many teams with having 16 teams in the NBA playoffs. But how many teams are in the NBA? Is it 30 or 32?
It's 30.
It is 30 for the moment.
Okay, so that's over 50%. I agree, that's ridiculous. Major League Baseball was at 8 forever out of 30, which is a very small percentage. They expanded, added the wild card games, that sort of thing. 76 is what percentage of 350? I mean, by my quick calculation, that's like 20%.
You know, and I think I'm going to chime in here
we go.
because
Is yours also going to be mathematically related?
I'm just going to play your side of the token. Why don't we just give every single basketball team a participation trophy?
So why
and
would
say,
we, why
you know
would
what?
We do that?
You guys played basketball even though it wasn't very good. So here's a trophy for you.
Why would we do that?
That's insane. I don't want to see Auburn and Cincinnati in the NCAA tournament. It's stupid. They're terrible.
Why would we give every team a participation trophy if upwards of 270 aren't even invited still?
I don't care.
I think it's too easy.
The perfect number.
I think what you said about Auburn, it's too easy for people to be like, I watched Auburn this year,
they're poopy.
and they were aesthetically unpleasant.
They
Therefore, a next year's equivalent of Auburn should not be in the tournament.
Damn straight.
That argument does not resonate with me.
You guys, you know what you guys sound right now? You sound like Bruce Pearl, and I don't like that.
I never want to sound like Bruce Pearl.
No, neither do I.
Well, you don't have the voice, but it's still. I hate it.
You're not totally against it. Hey, we still have our beautiful 64 team bracket. The biggest concern on everybody's mind is, are we going to have our brackets in by Tuesday?
Yeah.
Because there's too many games. You can't have Miami of Ohio / Tennessee advancing, man. I got to see who wins that. I think you got to get your brackets in by Tuesday. And there's going to be games on all day. We'll talk about this more later.
They're going to be bad basketball. If you want to watch bad basketball, go watch the NIT. If you want to watch bad basketball, go watch the College Basketball Crown.
Wait, so were you upset when they added the first 4?
Damn straight. I like 64.
Okay. In that case,
when they moved to 68, I was like, that sucks. But like, it's the world we live in. And now this is the world we live in where it's 76 now. I can't do anything about it.
Give me more madness.
I haven't followed this
Before the madness
aspect of it particularly closely. So are all of the new games going to be in Dayton?
I think so.
To me, I think it would be cooler if they gave some other towns a chance with hosting little first 4. I understand Dayton shows out really well for those first 4 games, and it's like
but you're right. That's 24 teams.
It's a lot.
Does
Dayton have that many hotels?
Yeah, how many hotels are we talking there?
Shout out to my friend Zach. He has family in Dayton.
Yeah.
Shout out Zach.
Shout out, Zach. Shout out to Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, LJWorld.com. Thanks as always for coming in.
Sorry. Any thoughts on the Mo Williams tweet?
Well, you're
underneath, by the way, if you missed it, Mo Williams, assistant for Kentucky, tweeted underneath Tyran Stokes his commitment date or whatever. Let's go, and that is a clear NCAA violation.
Setting aside the fact that you're probably not supposed to do that, it's just funny to do that when you don't know the result.
Yeah.
Also hilarious that he wound up not going to Kentucky.
And I believe
too.
Mo Williams was like a head coach of a program before coming to Kentucky, so like he should know the rules. So that was a little bit funny.
All social media, am I right? Henry, thanks for coming in. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Hey, more coming up on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
'25 Tundra is now 0.99 APR or get $5,000 customer cash. 2026 Tacoma SR5 models 4.99 APR with $500 cash. Built to move you. Get into a 2026 BZ for 0% APR.
Listen up, guys. Summer is coming, and there's no better time than right now to ignite your health and feel your best. Whether you're chasing peak performance, trying to reignite intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence is your calling. Situated in a plush man cave setting, their services for testosterone replacement therapy, ED, vitamin therapy, and weight loss are sure to give you the boost you need. Make an online appointment today by searching for Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game in 2026 with Game Day.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the Class Ring Company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
Mitchell Bales and his team over at Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. They will get you back in the game. Spring and summer months, you want to be feeling your best. If you're feeling low on energy, perhaps low T, maybe you struggle with ED, as 50% of men do at some point in their lifetime, they can help you out. Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Swing on by. Tell them the guys at Kansas Nation sent you. Your first visit is on Mitch. It's completely complimentary. Quick, easy 3-step process. They'll take your blood. You will review your results with a licensed practitioner, a comfortable setting with drinks and snacks. Again, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence, partners of us here at Kansas Nation. Swing on by and let them know that Sean and Dan sent you over there. Talked about this a little bit with Greeny, Dan, but KU baseball wagon 34-11 now as they go down to X Stadium and beat Wichita State 14-1.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Fitz earlier in the day. He said there was a great showing of KU fans, which makes sense. You know, you're in Wichita. There's probably going to be a lot of KU fans out there, but he really appreciated all the love and support that everyone showed him out in Wichita. A really exciting game, 14-1 run rule victory over Wichita State. They've won 18 of their last 19. They just keep on winning, man. They're 34-11 right now. First time in school history they are a 9-0 record against regional opponents in the North, South, East, and West. Nebraska, Wichita State, Missouri, and Kansas State. So really impressive stuff. Just cleaning house on the surrounding schools in their region. KU in this game, it was really no question, right? They jumped out to an 8-0 lead in the midway point of the third inning. 6 Jayhawks finished with multi-hit games, including Jordan Bach, who tied his career high with 4 RBIs. Cade Baldridge also had 2 hits and 3 RBIs as well. KU used six pitchers in this game, holding Wichita State to 1 run. Matisse Nayrol, he started. He had 2 scoreless frames. Carter Fink, a name that we haven't heard a lot of, he had a multi-inning appearance with a 2.2 scoreless innings. And Kannon, Carr, Manning West, and Jeremy Allen all came in and threw scoreless innings as well. So really impressive stuff on the pitching side of things. And then on the offensive side of things, a really spread out effort by the Kansas offense, right? I mean, you had Jordan Bach with 4 RBIs, but really everybody was pulling their weight in terms of the batting.
Coach Fitz saying post-game they had a business-like approach to that game, and that's very impressive because, again, they're 34-11, and this is the final of their midweek games. How many times would it have been easy to kind of take the game off for Kansas?
Right.
I mean, all of these high-emotion Big 12 games, it hasn't mattered. They just keep winning. Tyson Owens, you mentioned him. He earned a spot on Baseball America's National Team of the Week. We mentioned how he is already the Big 12 Player of the Week and Big 12 Newcomer of the Week. Last week, Owens hit .625 with a ridiculous OPS upwards of 1,900. He was 10 of 16, hit 3 bombs in KU's 4 games. He had 7 RBIs and, scored at least 1 run in all 4 games. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. He's a guy who now is getting his chance to be in the spotlight as Kansas has had so many of those guys get it done. Coming up for KU baseball is 3-game set at home against Arizona. Then you got a 3-game set against West Virginia, who is a top 25 team in their own right, before you close out the regular season at BYU, and then the Big 12 tournament in which Kansas is potentially trying to back up a regular season Big 12 championship. We have to wait and see, but that gets underway in mid-May. So excited to continue to track KU baseball. We're going to hear from a couple of the guys, Tyson Owens and Kannon Carr, a little bit later in Rock Chalk Sports. KU softball, no issues with Wichita State themselves. This was in the home finale. KU gets another great performance from Lila Partridge. Complete game shutout for the freshman in the circle. KU 33-16, 13-8 in Big 12 play. Kansas won 13 games at home, the most in a season since 2016. Wichita State, like Henry was saying, pretty solid team, 32-16, 18-6 in the American. Kansas snapped their 12-game win streak, so a nice win, and again, 10-0. Kansas wins 3 of 4 against Iowa State and Wichita State in the last 5 games. A 3-hitter from Lila Partridge. Anna Soles belted a home run to center field. It's a 2-run shot with Presley Limbaugh at first. Kansas was able to close out the complete game shutout, again, 10-0, as they scored 5 runs off Riley Neihart, who has 19 wins this season, Dan.
Impressive
No innings
stuff.
pitched, 5 runs. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it just really, really impressive stuff. 5 runs, like you said, no innings pitched. And, she had 19 wins on the season. Kansas's offense is really good. Anna Soles, like you said, she was the hero against Baylor, and she winds up hitting a home run in this one as well. Presley Limbaugh, she reached base safely in 13 straight games, so really impressive stuff from her. Ella Boyer walked for the 35th time this season. It's 3rd most in Big 12 conference play. With a hit in the first inning, also Campbell Bagshaw extended her hit streak to 8 games. So the offense has really been rolling for this Kansas softball team. They have one more against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is a very good softball program. If you can come out of there, hopefully with 2 wins, hopefully you can sweep, right? But if you can get out of there with 2, I think that'll be a nice resume builder, because right now Kansas softball, they're sitting on that bubble like Henry was talking about, and they have some really impressive wins on the year, but the UMass run rule sticks out at you. The Boston College loss sticks out at you, right? So you still need to do some stuff, and probably need a couple of more teams kind of around the nation to maybe fall. But Kansas being able to beat Wichita State, like he said, that gives them a nice boost in terms of the eyes of the selection committee for the upcoming NCAA tournament.
Yeah, look at the Big 12 standings. Texas Tech, in terms of softball, 19-2. They're in first place. Looks like they're going to win the Big 12 regular season title. Arizona, 15-6. And then KU's opponent, Oklahoma State, 14-7. KU is 13-8. UCF, 12-8-1. Everybody else is under 500. Again, Kansas finishing out the regular season this weekend, heading to Stillwater. Game 1 of the series is going to be on Friday, 6 o'clock. You can watch that on ESPN+. Kansas kind of trying to hang on to a postseason berth. They will take place in the Big 12 tournament in Dallas, which is May 7th through 9th. Good luck to KU softball. Final series of the regular season at Oklahoma State coming up this weekend. After this, we're going to go to Hoagland Ballpark. Going to hear from a couple Jayhawks, Kannon, Carr, and Tyson Owens of KU baseball. That's next. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com.
Haney and the Hawks is presented by Jefferson's with 2 Lawrence locations. Home of the best wings in town, 21 signature sauces. You got to check them out. But if wings aren't your thing, how about a burger? They hand patty their certified Angus beef every single day. Also hand bread their tenders. They make their ranch in-house. There is truly something for everybody at Jefferson's. Go see my buddy Brandon Graham and the entire crew at Jefferson's, either on Mass or Wakarusa in Lawrence, Kansas.
Dominate the season with this limited time offer on the all-star lineup of Ferris zero-turn mowers. At Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, get up to $1,400 instant rebate on a Ferris zero-turn mower. Flexible financing options available with approved credit. Offer ends April 30th. For details and big savings, see Heinen Repair in Valley Falls and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
.25 Tundra is now 0.99 APR or get $5,000 customer cash. 2026 Tacoma SR5 models 4.99 APR with $500 cash. Built to move you. Get into a 2026 BZ for 0% APR.
Listen up, guys. Summer is coming, and there's no better time than right now to ignite your health and feel your best. Whether you're chasing peak performance, trying to reignite intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence is your calling. Situated in a plush man cave setting, their services for testosterone replacement therapy, ED, vitamin therapy, and weight loss are sure to give you the boost you need. Make an online appointment today by searching for Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game in 2026 with Game. Going to hear from a couple of victorious Jayhawks. Wednesdays have been awesome because we talk to these guys on Wednesdays for the most part after they beat somebody down on Tuesday night. Home or road, they're back in town. They come out and talk to us. Really appreciate that. Hear from Kannon, Carr, and Tyson Owens. But first, got to tell you about Crown Automotive.
Yeah, Crown Automotive over in my neck of the woods, South Iowa Street. The best line of new and used cars. They have new Toyotas and new Volkswagens. If you're looking in the market for whatever it is, if you want a mid-size sedan, if you want a smaller SUV, if you want a larger SUV, if you want an electric VW bus, guess what? They got them over at Crown Automotive, the friendliest sales staff here in town. Be sure to go check them out. They're run by the Lawrence Citizen of the Year, Miles Schneer. So be sure to check them out, crownautomotive.com or crownmotorsvw.com. If you're in the market for a used car or a new car, particularly new cars, go check them out, Crown Automotive here in Lawrence on South Iowa Street.
Well, we know about Dom Vagley. We know the success that Matisse Nayrall has had, and certainly Bodie Ray has had a fantastic year for the KU pitching staff. But Kannon Carr, a guy who's been a solid member of this program the last couple of years, really answers every call. He started on the weekend. He started in the middle of the week. He's come out of the bullpen, and he spoke a little bit earlier today at Hoagland Ballpark.
What's it been like this year? You've had a couple of different roles in terms of the pitching staff. How have you adapted to the different things you've been asked to do over the course of the year?
Yeah, I know it's not the first time I've had to come out of the pen or, been asked to start, so it's not anything different. Just embracing it, really, enjoying every opportunity I've been given and trying to do what I can to help the team out.
Hey, I know guys are different people and personalities and all that, but if you had to kind of describe the personality of your pitching staff as a whole, could you put a description on it, what you guys are about out there and what the kind of theme or common denominator is across all the arms you have?
Yeah, our pitching staff brings a lot of energy to the games. The guys who are in the dugout, who aren't in the bullpen or aren't quite getting the innings, they contribute a lot to the success of our team just by the energy that they bring in the dugout. And the guys that do come in, they know their job, they know what they need to go out there and do, and they go out there and get it done.
A lot of pitchers are, the Greg Maddux of the world stay pretty tight and not really demonstrative. You guys have a lot of guys that are willing to show a lot of personality.
They show a lot of personality, a lot of energetic attitudes towards the game, and that's because they love what they're doing and they want to come out here and have fun and compete, and that they show it with their emotions, and that's what we do. So yeah.
Have you seen that become contagious to guys that maybe aren't necessarily wired that way naturally?
Yeah, I think they see other guys doing it and they're like, man, maybe I can do that too, and they go out there and they find success in what they're doing, and they allow themselves to show that part of them that maybe they haven't before.
Anyone stand out that has really come out of their shell in that regard?
Honestly, Dominique Vagley. He's been a very controlled and monotone person on the mound from what I've seen, and recently he's been able to show a little emotion, and I like seeing that out of him, especially as a starter. As relievers, most guys come out of the bullpen, they're wired, they're ready to go, they're amped up. Right. But coming from a starter and seeing the success he's had, it's been really, really good to see.
You guys told him about it? Like, hey, Dom, that's new. Why are you smiling? I mean, have you given him some trouble about it?
No, not really trouble, because there's a lot of other guys who are doing it as well. Right. So we're just excited to see him having success. So.
Cool.
Do you push him to do that, to be more demonstrative?
No, not necessarily. I think Fitz likes seeing the energy that we bring to the game and like seeing how it affects our play as a team. And so whenever he does it, it just amps us up a little more and gets the team going in the right direction altogether.
What's it been like seeing some other guys get some chances to contribute recently, like Fink having 2 good outings the last few days?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. The more guys that we have can go out there and compete and have success, the better off that we're going to be as a team. And so being able to have multiple guys and have a deeper bullpen, that's going to contribute to our long-term success.
Anything else for Kannon? Awesome. Thanks, Kannon.
Thank you.
Kannon Carr, he's actually leading this team, Dan, in ERA. 19 appearances, 5 starts, like I said. So 5 starts, 14 out of the bullpen. 3-1 with a 3.86 ERA. 37 1/3 for Carr. He's given up just 32 hits. That is very good to give up fewer than a hit per innings pitched at the collegiate level. 36 strikeouts, so averaging about a strikeout per inning. 17 walks. Opponents hitting just 230 against him. Such a solid player, one we haven't talked about a lot, but he's important to Coach Fitz's game plan.
Yeah, when you look at the Kansas pitching staff, right, a lot of the talk is about Dom Bagley, talk about Bodie Ray, right, talk about some of the other guys in the bullpen like Manning West and Matisse Navarro, all these different players, but Kannon Carr, I think, as of right now, has been pitching probably the best out of maybe all of them, just at least the most consistent out of all of them, right? Really good at striking guys out. He's got really good stuff. He's got a nice release on his ball. And like you said, 3.86 ERA right now in 19 appearances, 37 innings, 36 strikeouts. I mean, having almost a strikeout per inning is really impressive stuff. So obviously you like what you're seeing out of them. And if the Kansas pitching staff can continue to work on this momentum that they have as of right now, right? When you look at what happened in the Wichita State game where you didn't really have your best pitchers out there and you went through 6 different pitchers and they wind up only giving up 1 run, couple of hits. I mean, that's really impressive stuff, and it's sort of a team collective, right? But when you have Kannon Carr out there, you're always feeling comfortable whenever he's on the rubber. So, a really impressive kid, and again, just another one of those pieces that maybe doesn't get enough talk whenever we're talking about Kansas baseball, but a very important piece to this Kansas baseball team.
We've mentioned this regarding Ray, but the same can be said for Carr and some other guys on this team. Ryan Ritter has started some games also, but baseball has so many guys that are superstitious, and starting pitchers, they do the same routine over and over again. I think it was Ray who said that he has to eat pasta every night.
Yes, fettuccine Alfredo.
But every night before he pitches, it's like, okay, you get in your routine, especially as a starting pitcher. Well, in college, unless you're a guy like Vagley who is going to be a starter on the weekend, you don't necessarily know. So things kind of get messed up, and you have to kind of roll with the punches a little bit. Carr's done a fantastic job, no matter the situation, going in there and contributing for this Kansas baseball team. Offensively, we know that's been a big story for Kansas as well. With Brady Ballinger now upwards of 300 on the season, KU has 6 guys hitting over 300. Ballinger at 301 is lowest. Tyson LeBlanc leads the way at 330. One guy now on the cusp of hitting over 300 is Tyson Owens, the Big 12 Player of the Week. 294 batting average. He's got some pop, as do a lot of his teammates. Tyson Owens, a little bit earlier today, spoke at Hoagland Ballpark.
It was a good week last week, but honestly our focus now is just keep winning games, keep giving us an opportunity to put us in a good spot come the rest of the season.
Broad question, but why are things working so well for you guys right now?
I think just the chemistry we have as a team right now and the energy we're playing with is just boosting our confidence and helping us win close games.
There's a vibe around you guys that's kind of like we're not really that impressed with what we're doing. It's just what we're supposed to do, and maybe almost like there's more to come. I mean, do you guys feel that? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is we're just focused on one pitch at a time, and I think that's our biggest thing is nobody's thinking about, like we play this team this weekend. Like we're all just living in the moment, and I think that's what keeps that energy around.
What's that moment like when you guys are day to day talking about what you have coming up or what you've done or looking ahead? Do you even do that? I mean, it's human nature to some degree, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit, but I think we're just so live in the moment and just enjoy every moment we have together that I think we're just so focused on that right now.
Sure. Going back to Sunday, what was it like having a 5-hour, 7-minute rain delay?
That's the longest rain delay I've ever been a part of, but I think it was super fun. Like just as a group of guys, like we were just hanging out, playing sack, taking naps, like just doing a bunch of random things, but just getting closer as a team.
When it gets to the end of it, do you have to lock yourself back in? Do you have to flip the switch again?
I would think that we were pretty locked in the entire time. We just wanted to come out and take care of business as usual, but I think our biggest thing was once we found out when we were playing, it was kind of like, all right, dial it back in and get ready to go.
You have much interaction with your coaches during that time? Are they checking up on you guys, or do they leave you alone for the most part?
They kind of just leave us alone. Fitz pulled us aside for a little bit when we got in there and told us hey, it might be a while, so just get comfortable. Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Awesome. Thanks, Tyson.
Perfect. Thank you.
A lot.
That's Big 12 Player of the Week, Tyson Owens, who is also named to Big 12 he was the Big 12 newcomer of the week and named to Baseball America's Team of the Week. What a week he had against Nebraska and then, of course, in Manhattan.
Yeah, and when you look at Tyson Owens kind of throughout this year, he's had some big moments, but, the bat hasn't been particularly hot up until this week, right? After this week ended, he came into the week batting .248. Now he's batting .293 on the cusp of 300. Really impressive stuff. Batting .625, 10 for 16. He had a double, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 9 runs scored, 2 walks, 1.934 OPS. Really impressive stuff. You don't see a 1.934 OPS a lot, but this week has been massive for him. Also hit the go-ahead home run in the 5th inning against K-State. He had a 9th inning home run on Saturday and a game-tying home run against Nebraska in the 6th inning of a 9-7 victory on a Tuesday. He has been really impressive. And one thing that you look at with this Kansas baseball team is that it's not just one guy, right? We talked about this a little bit kind of throughout the season, and we talked about a little bit off air earlier today, is the fact that, it's not the usual suspects that you would imagine. Brady Ballinger has gotten a lot better. Daryl Soria is continuing to get better, but those are the 2 guys that everybody was talking about. But it's been Tyson LeBlanc. But then other games have been Jordan Bach. Other games has been Tyson Owens, right? Other games has been Cade Baldridge. It has just continued to kind of spread out throughout this Kansas offense, and, that dog will hunt.
That dog will hunt, no doubt about that. Kansas baseball continuing to pace the Big 12, and it's getting really close to working out mathematically for them as they're 3 games up. Greeny talked about this earlier, but KU 17-4. ASU and UCF face each other this upcoming weekend. They're both 14-7, so hopefully no sweeps there. West Virginia's 13-8. TCU's 13-8. Hopefully West Virginia takes at least 1 loss this weekend before they come to town, because all it takes is 1 good weekend for an opponent and 1 bad weekend for you. Kansas has got to stay consistent if you want to win the Big 12. And as we talked about, there's legitimate conversations of KU hosting not only a regional being top 16, but potentially having to play their entire path to Omaha at Hoagland Ballpark.
That would be nice, right? And, I think that with the way that Kansas is playing right now, with both the pitching staff and the offense playing as well as they are right now, and if they take the momentum from the Wichita State victory heading into what is going to be a massive stretch for Kansas, again, they seem primed to do it. Now, if you drop 1 to Arizona, that's really going to hurt you, because Arizona is a bad baseball team. And in terms of RPI, right, if you drop 1, that's going to drop you. Even if you barely beat Arizona, it still could drop you potentially, right? So Kansas really needs to go out there and be dominant against these teams. They have to sweep Arizona in shocking fashion. They have to close it out against BYU. And, I think as of right now, you're feeling pretty confident that they're going to be able to do that just based off of the last couple of outings that they've had.
Go out and win series, and Kansas has done that, and they've had a lot of sweeps. That's how you get to a 17-4 sparkly record. Hey, really excited for our KU Mailbag segment coming up next. It's going to involve some food, which is something that we are very passionate about. Appreciate everybody who has sent in their questions. You can always do that throughout the week. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at the Kansas Nation, or Facebook, Kansas Nation. KU Mailbag segment. We hear from you guys next. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
Dominate the season with this limited time offer on the all-star lineup of Ferris zero-turn mowers. At Heinen Repair and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, get up to $1,400 instant rebate on a Ferris zero-turn mower. Flexible financing options available with approved credit. Offer ends April 30th. For details and big savings, see Heinen Repair in Valley Falls and Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence.
With Heinen, there's always hope for your yard.
2025 Tundras now 0.99 APR or get $5,000 customer cash. 2026 Tacoma SR5 models 4.99 APR with $500 cash. Built to move you. Get into a 2026 BZ for 0% APR.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the class ring company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
KU Mailbag segment today brought to you by Joslin's Jewelry, 95th and Antioch, in front of the big grocery store. They have been locally owned for over 40 years. Gary Joslin heads the operation over there, but the entire Joslin family proud to have earned the trust of 3 generations of customers. They are the jewelry store you want to go to because they're going to be honest and treat you fair. You wouldn't believe how many times customers come in and say they were quoted $400 to fix a ring, and it's under $200 at Joslin's to fix the same ring. Again, 95th and Antioch, in front of the big grocery store. Joslin's Jewelry, partners of us here at Kansas Nation.
For the best that's yet to come.
You know Dan's always going to have that jingle. I feel like you didn't break that out until recently.
Nah, it was, relatively recent.
Kept it in the chamber.
Well, you won't let me wave the wheat anymore for the central bank read. So.
You're welcome to wave the wheat whenever you'd like. Okay, here we go. All right, KU Mailbag segment. Thanks to everybody who has sent in questions. My tummy's already rumbling. I'm excited for this chips question, but we could slow play it. Who do you want to start with today?
So I'm going to save Elliot's question for last.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
What, you didn't eat lunch yet or something?
I did not eat lunch.
Neither did I. So
we are pre-recording. It's not 5:30 and we haven't eaten lunch.
Yeah, no, I know.
But yeah.
But you usually will. Yeah, I get you. Okay, yeah, let's start here. Berg, he wants to know who's the starting 5 for next year.
For what team?
Let's go with the
Pistons.
Cade
Cunningham.
I was going to say the
Jalen Duren.
What about the New Orleans Pelicans?
Zion is going to be there.
Sure.
Herb Jones, I think, will start.
Jones.
Trey Murphy, former Virginia great.
Yeah.
Who else do they have? They traded McCollum to the Hawks.
Yeah.
Pelicans.
Alvarado's
They've got Derek Queen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it'll probably be Derek Queen. Yeah.
Queen will probably be in there. Mm-hmm. And then probably some international guy that I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
I would imagine he was talking about the Kansas Jayhawks.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to go? I think we might have a different answer, but I'll let you start off with your projected starting 5 if it were to stop right now.
Okay. This is interesting, right? Because I think there's legitimate questions.
Sure.
I think Kenny starts at the 1.
Okay.
And I think Dawes is at the 4. Stokes is at the 3.
Okay.
I'm struggling a little bit at the 2 and the 5. People forget Cole Rosario started last year, the beginning of the season. He's had a year in the program. I'm going to go Blyden at the 2. He's a really good shooter, so I think he's a weapon whether he starts or comes off the bench. But he's played a lot of minutes. He scores a lot of points.
So you see Blyden at the 2.
I think you need, not that Rosario won't be a dependable shooter at some point, but you need a guy who's probably more of a natural shooter at the 2 at this point. And Blyden's seen a lot of shots go in against quality MAC competition. So Blyden at the 2. And then, probably Reeves at the 5. I'm not positive, though. I think
the
Big
2
Paul
returners
right
for
there.
Kansas are on your bench.
Kansas, they have 2 returners. Yeah, I don't know. I think as of right now, but again, I think it's definitely more questions than answers than usual. But I mean, I'll be shocked if Kenny, Stokes, and Dawes aren't in the starting lineup.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's for sure 3. Right. I mean, you would imagine it's going to be Dawes at the 4. I think he has a really high upside, really experienced player. Stokes, duh. Kenny, duh. I think I'm with you with Leroy Blyden. It's going to be tricky, though, because I think Cole Rosario is going to take a big jump for this year. I think I'm going to also – oh, man, that's so tough. I think Blyden would be a nice piece to come off the bench, though. I think Rosario might get the start right away just because, and we know this isn't a shock to anybody, Self loves his guys, right? He loves his own guys. He loves the guys he recruited out of high school. So I would imagine that Cole Rosario is probably going to get the start right away, similar to last year.
You know what?
I think Blyden will be nice to come off the bench, and he'll probably get 18 to 20-some minutes a game. Like, there's going to be a lot of rotation, I think, maybe with those two in particular.
You know what I like about Rosario potentially coming off the bench? He's not the same player as Stokes, but he's got similar build, and he attacks the basket similarly.
Sure, yeah. Right, I mean, he's not a... but
he's a better shooter than Stokes.
Yes.
But I kind of like him as a backup for Stokes. Just thinking through this right now. Not that Stokes isn't going to play 32, 34 minutes a game.
I'm about to say, Stokes is going to be in there for
but I think when
35 minutes
Stokes
a game.
isn't out there, Rosario is, which that can be.
So Rosario gets 5 minutes a game, according to Sean.
But I think that, I don't know. I don't hate that because you're really big and you're good rebounding the basketball, or should be, based on everything we've talked about with Stokes, Dawes, and Reeves, but Rosario is a fantastic rebounder also.
Yeah, he is. That's very true, right?
So,
and I think that it is probably unfortunate for Cole Rosario just because of the fact that, I mean, Stokes does play his position, but also I think Rosario is flexible and could play the two. And I think that Rosario is going to have such a high upside. No, Leroy Blyden also has a very high upside as well, but I think you need Rosario in the game, and I think Blyden will come off the bench and give you that spark, that energy off the bench whenever you need big shots.
Maybe.
Right? So that's what I'm kind of viewing him as. And then I'm actually going to go
3-point shooters though.
Sure.
So,
but I'm actually going to
if
go.
that happens, Kenny, Rosario, Stokes need to hit threes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to go opposite of you on the center position as well. I think Mbia.
Big Paul.
I think Big Paul is going to make a massive, massive jump, and he's going to be the number one guy at that center position. But again, probably some rotation. We're going to see both.
He has a 7'8" wingspan, and also, you're not going to believe this, Marcus Calvin did not have a barbell in his high school.
Is that right?
It's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. Somebody should write a story about that. Hey, Tyler, he wants to know, where does Stokes bring the most immediate impact?
Scoring.
Sure. Would it be rebounding?
Would it be personality?
Personality, yes. I think, okay, in terms of immediate impact, so let's look at it from what we didn't have with Stokes compared to what we have with him now, right? We had the rebounding aspect when you look at Reeves, Mbia, and Keanu Dawes. So maybe rebounding is not the answer.
Offense.
Right? So it could potentially just be offense, and I think that it's going to be nice. Also, Bill Self said it. Probably what he does best is passing. He's going to garner so much attention. We talked about this with Darren Peterson this last year.
That's why I want Blyden out there starting.
That actually
driving kick
actually makes sense. That's the thing. Is like, yeah, if you see Tyran Stokes put the ball on the ground, get his shoulders by somebody, that defense is collapsing. You got Kenny and Blyden out there wide open. I mean, that's not terrible. So maybe facilitation, not in terms of being the point, but in terms of like just garnering so much attention, because he is going to do that. He is going to be, just a force, a magnet out there that's going to attract defenders. You're going to see double, triple teams on him whenever he decides to put the ball on the ground. That means guys are going to be open. So that could be it, right? I think. But also, I think there's a super high upside on rebounding as well. He's just such a good rebounder. And you're going to have two prolific rebounders out there, but it's not going to hurt to have three. So, I don't know. Do you think it's just scoring in general?
Man, you have to have that guy, I think that's the big thing. We have guys who can score, but you have to have that guy that the offense runs through. I think that'll be Stokes. So that's my...
Okay.
Piper has an interesting one. Who would do better at a KU summer basketball practice, Daniel Courtwright or Sean Kellerman? Wow.
She's talking boot camp.
Summer basketball practice, I think I would beat you at boot camp.
Well, so like summer basketball practice, like that's more so just like shoot around and stuff. But like boot camp,
5-on-5,
that's a different animal. Like I'm not, you're gonna kill me in that.
I think so.
But in terms of like, if we're just doing shoot around, maybe like running through drills, I'm okay at drills. You know what I mean? A little mic and drill.
I don't know if I'm great at drills.
Dribbling through cones, I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm not bad at it.
How good are you of a ball handler? I know that you always talk about how awesome you are at basketball.
I'm nice.
So you think you're a good dribbler?
Yeah. Like imagine Kyrie Irving, but better. By the way, I'm super humble about it.
Kind of a Kyrie Irving Steph Curry hybrid.
Like if I could compare myself to one player, it'd probably be Kyrie Irving. No other player comes to mind. I just think I'm nice at ball handling. Dude.
So you're on the bench because you're injured.
Exactly.
That makes sense. That actually makes sense.
I actually think that you would do better at a summer basketball camp or summer basketball practice because you're probably in better shape than me. You run, don't you?
I do run. Well, my runs are run/walk.
Sure.
But yeah, I try to jog.
I played 2 pickup basketball games yesterday.
And
2-on-2. I was the sweatiest I've ever been.
Dude, and you are not one of those guys who gets sweaty and doesn't smell bad. I mean, seriously, like playing slow pitch with you, like
it's bad.
They need to install some showers over at the Clinton Lake
It's sort of a secret weapon
complex.
that I have too. It's nice because nobody wants to guard me. And
because you're sweaty or because you smell so bad?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, guys will just slide right off me and they don't want to touch me. So I just got open lanes, man. Open lanes all day. It's very nice. Chris, he says, after last season, I think Tennessee was interested in taking a run at Coach Fitz. Assuming we lock up the Big 12 title, hosting the NCAA tournament, and make a relatively major tourney run, are we nervous another SEC school comes after him this year? And if so, will Goff be asking owners to help retain Fitz with a major contract extension? So, what did I say? Donors. He got a contract extension in June of 2025, right? So that is interesting to note. There's a buyout. So whatever school that would be would have to essentially buy out that contract. But to me, with Coach Fitz, I don't see him going anywhere because I think he really does like it here in Lawrence, right?
I think he does as well, but he also deserves
absolutely.
And like that's the thing, contract that he wants realistically.
That's the thing. Like imagine like a major league team comes calling. Like just for example, like the Philadelphia Phillies who just fired Rob Thompson. By the way, shout out former KU legend Rob Thompson. If the Phillies come calling, like, does he take that call? I don't know if the next. I don't know how many coaches do we see typically go from college?
Very rare.
Straight? It's very rare.
Tony Vitello obviously did it, and then.
Other than that, it's really not. That's not. It's not like that in terms of like we'll see that sometimes in college basketball. We'll see that sometimes in NCAA where coaches will move up, right? But usually it's guys within Major League Baseball already, right? But I think when you look at what Fitz has done, and again, here's what I think Coach Fitz does his best at: it's just recruiting, right?
Yeah, he and John Coyne absolutely kill it getting talent.
By the way, shout out to John Coyne. DM'd us on Twitter, said, love y'all's content.
How about that? Shout out John Coyne.
Shout out to John Coyne.
Talk about a workout program I need to get on.
Yeah.
Whatever John Coyne is doing, because the dude is ripped.
Shout out to him. But yeah, I don't see that being an issue just because he did sign a contract extension. Now, when that's up, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll be able to retain him. Hopefully, he wants to buy into Kansas and potentially for the remainder of his career continue to make Kansas a baseball school.
Travis Goff
powerhouse.
And everybody in KU athletics do such a good job taking care of their own. Look what we did with Nate Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, Coach Fitz has brought this program to new heights, and his staff have been amazing. And like we were talking about a little bit earlier today at Hoagland Ballpark, the culture has stayed the same. KU has brought on a couple returners, of course, guys like Ballinger, Osoria, Carr, we've talked about, but mostly it's new guys, and that's kind of where we're at with college athletics. The culture of KU baseball has not changed. If it's changed at all, it's just gotten better, and that's a testament to those guys. Appreciate that question, Chris. We're cheering hard for KU baseball here down the stretch. Luke wants to know, how much money would you need to never eat your favorite food again?
Your favorite food, if I'm not mistaken, is pizza.
Yeah, I don't know that I can.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I don't want to leave anybody out. You know what I mean? Like I like pizza. I also like burgers.
I'm a big fan of sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm a big sandwich guy.
Like, give me like a Italian sandwich.
Did you say that's your number one?
I don't know. I don't think I would put burgers number one, but burgers is definitely top 5. Like a good cheeseburger.
I always thought you were a big pizza guy. Like pizza is your number one.
It might have to be, man. But buffalo wings. Pizza, buffalo wings, or sandwiches.
I eat pizza more than I eat buffalo wings.
Yes, I probably do also.
And I think I probably eat burgers more than I eat pizza just because I think that they're more accessible.
Yeah.
And I can cook them at home easier.
Pizza. I'll say pizza for the argument's sake. But you can't have any wraparounds. Like, you can't also Like, can I just say, okay, I'm just going to eat calzones the rest of my
Hot
life?
Pockets. Yeah. I mean,
Strombolis.
Yeah, I think that's the workaround. But, like, that's not a pizza, you know?
That's true. That's true.
I would say that's not a pizza, a calzone. It's a calzone, right? So how much money would it take for you to never eat pizza again? You can have some form of, you know,
I'm going to need some consistent
bread,
funds.
like crust folded over top of each other with pizza sauce and pepperonis and cheese.
See, I think that's a cop-out. But if that's actually a thing, then I wouldn't need that much. Just give me like $10,000 a year.
$10,000 a year?
Yeah, give me $10,000.
That's probably what you spend on pizzas already.
It's true.
So you'll be saving $20,000.
No, I'll be spending it on strombolis.
Oh, sure,
calzones,
that's fair.
and cheesy breadsticks.
$10,000 is
$10,000 a year. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of money. So
you want it in year? You don't want it up front?
No. That would be not good for me. I don't want it up front.
So if you won the lottery, here's another, I guess, if you won the lottery, would you want it in payments or would you want all the money up front?
Payments.
I
would want it up front, but I would choose it in payments.
Sure, I get you.
What's your food and what's your selection?
I think I'm gonna go burgers, which that's tough because there's not really a wraparound for that.
See,
you know what I mean?
you like steak more than burgers. You've said this. We've had this conversation before. So maybe steak's your...
Yeah, but I eat burgers more.
Right, but that's not your favorite food.
I think it is. I think like a good smash burger.
I love a good burger, man.
I think like a good...
I prefer burgers to steaks. I said it.
Yeah, but like a good steak, nothing beats it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't eat enough. I think like my favorite, like if the thing that I'm most ever in a mood for is probably burgers. And I would probably need, I'm going to say $30,000 a year.
Oh.
Yeah. Although
but there's ways around that too, man.
That's going back against my, I've always said this, like, if you do this for X amount of money, what amount of money is it? Usually I'm floating around $50,000 total.
Yeah.
But I think for something like this, I think it's a lot more. I think it's about $30,000 a year is what I need to never eat a burger again. Probably better for my health, too.
Fair. Well, I'm getting hungry for Elliot's question, so let's do one more here.
Sure.
Calvin says, do we like this team better than last year's on paper? Wow, that's
let's
tough.
go. You want to go one for one? So
we can.
One spot. Actually, let's start at the 5. 5 spot. You have Mbia and Christian Reeves, or you have Flory Badunga. I'm going to say it. I mean, I like Flory better.
Oh, man. At the 4 spot, I absolutely love Keanu Dawes.
Yeah.
Over last year's starting 4 man. Give me Dawes.
Tougher.
Left, right, up, down. Give me Keanu Dawes. Way tougher. 3 spot, Stokes or Trey White. Love Trey White.
Love him, but, I mean, it's obviously Stokes.
Going
right?
Stokes.
That's 2-1 right now for this year. At the 2 spot, that's tricky. I mean, we'll go ahead and say Melvin Council. So I feel like Darren Peterson was.
I guess so.
Main
I feel like
point.
Peterson was more the 2.
Yeah, but
Peterson was more the 2.
Was he? I think he was the main point for most of it. There were times where he did play the 2. I mean, that's kind of an unfair comparison.
Yeah.
I was saving this because I wanted to compare Tay Kenny to Darren Peterson.
I kind of like the choosing Peterson over
Leroy Blyden.
And then you have Kenny or Melvin Council.
Sure.
I kind of like that comp.
Kenny. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay, so
do you like Kenny there?
Kenny,
or do you like Council there?
I like 100%. I like Kenny over Melvin Council. And no offense to Melvin Council, I love Melvin Council, obviously, but you like Kenny over Council. You like Peterson over whoever the 2 is going to be. You like Stokes over Trey White. You love Keanu Dawes over.
Absolutely,
the old guy.
And then 5,
5
better rebounders. I'll tell you that much.
Probably they're taller, they're tougher. But I still think Flory is better. So, I mean, yeah, if you're going 3 out of 5, you like 3 players out of the 5 more, then yeah, I think on paper, you like the starting 5 better.
Certainly like the bench more if you got Rosario and Mbia over
absolutely.
Jackson and McDowell.
All right,
Elliot
let's do
says,
this.
all right, I got the assignment from the double top 10 shout out. Where are your rankings 1 to 5 of these snacks? Dan, I'll read them since you're going to be messing with them over there. Lay's Flamin' Hot.
Yes.
I have not had, but boy, am I excited for that. I love anything Flamin' Hot. Spicy queso popcorners, Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
And they're actually not Flamin' Hot Cheetos. They're They're Chester's
hot fries.
Hot fries.
Was that a mistake by you? Or?
No, it was a mistake by me. He sent pictures.
Okay. Gotcha.
To make sure that we got the right ones.
Flamin' Hot Funyuns. So that's the correct one.
I'm actually really excited for these. Yeah.
Flamin' Hot Funyuns and Tabasco Bugles, and then there's a secret sixth.
Yes, Tabasco Bugles. I got them right here. Do you want to start off just in order?
Yeah.
Of the ones that he.
Lay's Flamin' Hot.
So we got Lay's
I
Flamin'
love
Hot.
Lay's chips, man.
So Lay's Flamin' Hot are what we're trying right now. Good looking chip.
See, one thing I noticed off the jump though, they don't have the same seasoning as the Flamin' Hot Doritos.
Sure.
I'm gonna give it a go though.
I like it. It's not as hot as I thought it would be, which I think is.
That's very good.
Maybe I think I wanted them to be hotter.
It comes in at the end.
Yeah. Elijah, by the way, I'm going to give you like 3 of these bags. So they're going to be all yours. I do like this one a lot. It reminds me of the salsa negra, but with less flavor, and it's hotter. So it is good.
One thing, and we're going to have
Big
the
fan.
Flamin' Hot a little bit later, Doritos. The heat comes in later on those. You get the Lay's right away.
Yeah, it's good. I like that.
I like those a lot.
Yeah. All right, now we got Popcorners, spicy queso. So I'm going to open this bag up. Here's the thing about Popcorners. I love Popcorners.
I don't think I've ever had a popcorn.
They how do I put this nicely? They put me in the bathroom for a while. I've actually had these before. We're doing a little ASMR here. Sorry for everybody listening on ESPN Kansas City, but
spicy queso, anything is good.
Yeah. This also is not as spicy as I wanted it to be, but the flavor I think is better than those.
I love the flavor. I just don't like the texture as much as I like.
You don't like the texture?
Chips.
I love the texture.
Yeah.
It's like popped.
That's the type of stuff that my wife eats all the time. She loves the sweet chili rice cakes, those little ones. If you know what I'm talking about, Quaker.
Yeah.
Sweet chili. All right, Chester's
hot fries.
Hot fries. I've had these
Flamin'
before.
hot.
I'm a fan.
I've had these before too.
So wait, so these are different? They have a different?
So these aren't like Flamin' Hot Cheetos. These are Chester's hot fries.
But they're also different than the normal hot fries?
But I believe they're Flamin' Hot. I've had these before. And it's exactly what you want them to be. There was I can't remember his name, but there was a rapper who was hospitalized, not because of like any OD or anything, is because he ate too many hot fries and it burned a hole in his stomach.
Respect.
Yeah. Literally shout out to him. That's
Not
awesome.
as spicy as I want, but good texture. I like the hot fries.
The texture's good. Yeah. I have a list in my head of what I at least am going to rank them.
As do I, and now we're going for Flamin' Hot Funyuns. I'm a big Funyuns guy.
I'm excited for these. I've
I'm a
never
big
had them. I
Funyuns
didn't even
guy.
know they made Flamin' Hot.
Onion might be
Funyuns.
my favorite vegetable.
Yeah, I guess it's a vegetable. Onion's
man.
your favorite vegetable?
Those are awesome.
That's great. That's really good. So, are they made from potatoes or are they made from onions? I'm actually confused by that.
I don't know. I bet there's some Red 40 in there, though.
Yeah, a lot of Red 40. Is it corn? That actually makes a lot of sense. What is it seasoned with?
Those are good.
Just onion powder?
Again, I need a little bit more spice, I think.
That one might... I think these are the spiciest ones that I've tasted.
I don't know. Maybe
I
taste
just got a
buds
lot
are
on them.
dead.
Oh, a little bit on my nose. That's not good.
I like those a lot.
That's great. That's great.
All right, 2 more.
And then
Elliot, great question, by the way.
Elliot sent these in. They're Tabasco flavored bugles.
So we're going to get a little bit of a different sensation here.
I'm not crazy about A, bugles, and B, Tabasco. I think Tabasco...
I like Tabasco. I like Louisiana more, but...
See, I'm like a Cholula, Frank's Hot, Louisiana. Like, Tabasco's like 6th on my list.
Wow. That is a burst of flavor.
That's lovely, actually. That is splendid. That is just...
Wow.
Elliot, I take it back. It was really good.
Those are good, man. And
I bought
I
a
would
little
not
bag.
have known about those.
I bought a little bag because I didn't think we'd finish them all. I didn't think they'd be that good, but they are surprised me a little bit.
Those are good. All right, one more, which is something I've pumped up on the show before.
So, Elliot asked us to rank those 5.
I am starting to perspire on top of my nose.
This is Sean's favorite chip. It is the Doritos Flamin' Hot Limon.
As of right now. Other chips
right
that
now.
I love are normal Ruffles, cheddar and sour cream, Cool Ranch Doritos. Get one with some seasoning on it. Enough.
That one's got some seasoning on it.
Flamin' Hot Limon. I'm going to wait for your reaction.
You get the lime right away almost.
Yeah. See, but that's the amount of seasoning I want on a chip right there.
Yeah.
You see how it's completely coated?
Oh, and then you get the lime, a lot of lime afterwards too. And that's what I think. Oh, man, that's good.
They also have regular Flamin' Hot Doritos.
Okay. Okay.
Are you a fan? Was it too much lime for you?
It's perfect amount of lime. I'm a big lime guy. I like a hint of lime in, like, any chips that have a hint of lime or lime flavored whatever.
Margaritas.
I'm in on it. Margaritas, big lime guy. Lime in a Corona, also good.
All right, you go first.
All right, at number 5. Actually, you might not like this. I think I'm gonna go the Chester's.
Oh wait, don't we have 6?
Yeah. Okay, so we have 6. I'm putting these at 6, the Chester's Flamin' Hot Fries, just because of the fact that I've had them before and I've never like got the hype around them. You know what I mean? That's
Not enough flavor.
Yes, that's my 6 pick. My 5 pick, I think I'm going to go with these because, again, it says spicy queso, but they're not super spicy. They're the Popcorners spicy queso. They're good. I like the texture. I like Popcorners, but again, they put me on the toilet for a while. So that's going to be my number 5 pick. Number 4 for me, I think I'm going to go with the Lay's Flamin' Hot.
Okay.
I liked them.
I gotta have one more of
They
those.
were good. Yeah. Try it again. Maybe I need to try it again.
I got to compare it to the Flamin' Hot Limon.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Give me another one.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I think the Bugles took me by surprise by how much I liked them.
Okay.
I had really low expectations. I think
Are you sweating up here? I am.
I'm not sweating.
Okay.
I'm Mexican, dude. I get that spicy blood flowing through me.
All right, what are you going here? We were running out of time. Sorry. Up against a break.
I'm going to go with my 3rd pick. Actually, I'm going to switch them. Those are good. Nope, I'm going to keep it there. Lay's Flamin' Hot. I'm going with 3. Bugle. No, wait. Is that right?
4.
Oh, I'm going with 4 on
Lay's.
the Lay's Flamin' Hot. 3, I'm going with the Bugles Tabasco. They surprised me. I liked them a lot. 2, I'm going with the Hot Funyuns. And then number 1, Sean, you were correct. Sorry, Elliot. But the Flamin' Hot Limon Doritos
I think
are my
they're the
number
best,
1
man.
pick. They
I'm
are
going similar. Chester's.
Sure.
6. Popcorner 5. I'm going to go Lay's Flamin' Hot 4.
So you're
Bugles 3, Funyuns Flamin' Hot 2.
We have the exact,
Doritos. How about that?
We have the exact same list.
Same taste buds. I'll be darned.
Shout out to
Elijah
Elliot.
will have to try some and let you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a drink of water as we kick it to this break after all the Flamin' Hots. But appreciate that, Elliot. Appreciate everybody who sent us KU Mailbag questions. More coming up. ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com.
Tundra is now 0.99 APR or get $5,000 customer cash. 2026 Tacoma SR5 models 4.99 APR with $500 cash. Built to move you. Get into a 2026 BZ for 0% APR.
Haney and the Hawks is presented by Jefferson's with 2 Lawrence locations. Home of the best wings in town. 21 signature sauces. You got to check them out. But if wings aren't your thing, how about a burger? They hand patty their certified Angus beef every single day. Also hand bread their tenders. They make their ranch in-house. There is truly something for everybody at Jefferson's. Go see my buddy Brandon Graham and the entire crew at Jefferson's, either on Mass or Wakarusa in Lawrence, Kansas.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
With Jayhawk checking from Central Bank, Jayhawk fans can carry their pride wherever they go with the official Jayhawk debit card, a simple way to show school spirit every day. Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. And as the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life, on campus, at work, and everywhere in between. Learn more about Jayhawk checking and the exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. That's jayhawkchecking.com. Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, member FDIC. We've got some NCAA tournament news, of course, we want to break down. We'll talk more at length regarding this on tomorrow's show when we aren't also talking Stokes. But, Dan, you also have a piece of information for us.
Yes, Corbin Allen has committed to Appalachian State. Good for him for kind of finding his way. Kind of thought that he was going to go UMKC route just because of the fact that he's the Kansas City kid and Mark Turgeon's there, and Turge has really been on a hot streak of getting those local Kansas City kids. Now, I think if a word of advice to Mark Turgeon, you can also look elsewhere because he's bringing in like only Kansas City kids right now. But still a little bit surprising. I think that Corbin Allen will find his footing here in Appalachian State. So good for him. That was just one of those guys that there wasn't a clear path for him. I think especially at the position that he played. He was 6'6", could play the point guard, was a really nice player. But again, when you're getting in guys like Darren Peterson, Tyran Stokes, I mean, you're just going to continue to get in really good guards that are going to be kind of over Corbin Allen. It's just, it would be a tough road to hoe. I'm not saying it would have been impossible for him, but I'm really happy that he's kind of, found a new home.
NCAA tournament expanding to 76 teams, barring something changing. In May, the men's and women's tournaments expected to formally pass approval for expansion to 76 teams, sources told CBS Sports and a variety of other sources. The move to 76 would mean 52 teams would auto-slot into the main bracket that you're used to seeing. 52 teams would auto-slot. That would leave 12 remaining spots, 12 games for 24 teams, Tuesday and Wednesday for a rebuilt opening round. So that to me means 6 games Tuesday, 6 games Wednesday. Yeah. From that standpoint, I'm all about it. Matt Norlander says opening round will be split between at-large and auto bids, expanding the current first 4 format. All 16 seeds and half the 15s will be slotted into the Tuesday, Wednesday of the opening round. The other half will be a mix depending on team quality, 11s, 12s, and maybe a 13. The 12 games for the 24 teams in the expanded NCAA tournament will be labeled the opening round when the tournament expands in 2027. The first 4 is dead. It is going to be called the opening round. The first round of the tournament will remain Thursday, Friday. We talked about this a little bit earlier. We'll break it down further. Dumb. I am glad, though, that the 2 most sacred days on the calendar are not changing. Thursday and Friday. You have games all day. And to me, I like the fact that you're going to have games, more NCAA tournament, where you got a game on this TV, game on this TV, game on this TV, both Tuesday and Wednesday. There will be presumably 6 games each day. And again, you have the sacred Thursday, Friday, the bracket as is, 64. Will your bracket need to be done by a Tuesday morning? I don't know. But more teams, 350-plus teams in college athletics, Division I, 76 teams to be in the NCAA tournament.
Hate it. Absolutely hate it.
He loves
it. It's dumb. I hate it so much. Hey, here's the thing. If you didn't want your precious Thursday and Friday to be touched, guess what? You didn't need to change anything.
And still nothing changed.
I know. Well, now I got to get brackets in sooner. Now there's less likely of a chance for me to get a perfect bracket. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Charlie Baker, for expanding the NCAA tournament. And again, if you wanted to watch these teams play, why didn't you tune into the NIT this year?
There are two things in this world, and one of them is money. There was no way the NCAA tournament was not going to expand.
Stupid. I hate it. Can we open up the show with this tomorrow?
We're going to open up the show with this tomorrow. We're going to revisit it and talk in detail.
I'm going to collect my thoughts.
The NCAA tournament, just think about more basketball.
Sure.
We're going to be here at Kansas Nation, watching games Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just enjoy it, man. Enjoy the ride. But we'll break it down more on tomorrow's Rock Chalk Sports. Thanks to everybody who tuned in today. Big news with Tyran Stokes committing to Kansas, signing with Kansas. Going to ask our guests about that later this week as well. Appreciate everybody who's been watching live on Facebook and YouTube. For Elijah Schmidt, our technical director, and Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying thanks for listening. We'll catch you tomorrow from 4 to 6, ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
'25 Tundra is now 0.99 APR or get $5,000 customer cash. 2026 Tacoma SR5 models 4.99 APR with $500 cash. Built to move you. Get into a 2026 BZ for 0% APR.
Listen up, guys. Summer is coming, and there's no better time than right now to ignite your health and feel your best. Whether you're chasing peak performance, trying to reignite intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence is your calling. Situated in a plush man cave setting, their services for testosterone replacement therapy, ED, vitamin therapy, and weight loss are sure to give you the boost you need. Make an online appointment today by searching for Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game in 2026 with Game Day.
Hello, it's Mark Whitlow from Office Products Alliance. OPA is not just your local office products connection. We have expanded our offerings to network cabling installation, security cameras, door access, and IT services. We all need to keep pace with new technologies. You can trust a Kansas City company that has been your partner for 32 years. Check us out at opakc.com. Supporting local businesses and our community is more important than ever.